Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to Dash to Shoot, where you can every Friday show where I talk about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. And this week we've had a couple big things announced, haven't we? So, especially yesterday, and that's gonna be our main topic. But we got a couple other things to talk about before we get into our main topic. So, let me go ahead and get right into it. Let's start with the report that the Miz suffered a torn ACL in the Zombie Lumberjack match this past Sunday at WrestleMania Backlash against Damian Priest. There was a spot in the match where Damian Priest would do his spinning heel kick, and he lands on Miz's knee, and immediately Miz kind of grabs onto it and starts to hold on to it. So, but he finishes the match. Doesn't look like nothing is wrong. The zombies eat him, yada yada yada. But he was not on Raw on Monday, and so he was in this, and it's been reported by several sources that he tore his ACL. The Miz did put out a tweet on May 17th saying, "Guys, I feel great after last night's match. Promise." Um, and John Morrison, he sold the previous night's zombie match thing because he on Monday had a non-zombie match, lumberjack match against Damian Priest. I guess to make up for the zombie match. So he says, "At Mike the Miz might never be the same. I'm dedicating tonight's match to his memory. Johnny Drip Drip has spoken." And I think that's a little bit more into the kayfabe side of things. I don't know if that's the real thing, but anymore. But here's a thing from Dave Nelson. He says he tore his ACL, but we don't know the severity of the tear. The last I heard is they hope it was a partial tear, so that it may not be that serious. If it's a full tear, you know that surgery in probably 7, 8, 9 months, and at 40 is not the best thing in the world. He'll come back from it. I'm sure he will. There's a lot of time off. Hopefully for the best. It's partial, and you can make a quicker recovery, but that injury is legit. So it is seems to be a legit injury for the Miz. Um, and the Miz has been known for not getting injured. That's his big thing. That's one of the big things he's been talking about ever since the Talking Smack promo against Daniel Bryan. That's one of his big things. Big things was that he doesn't get injured, and he's be able to be there. He's a good hand. There's a reason why WWE likes him. I watched the Miz. Was it the WWE 24 thing on the Miz? I mean, you take a look at him and you can't help but like him. Yeah, you really can't help but like and help but root for him. I would think, because he's done everything. He talks about how he wanted to do everything. He wanted to be that guy in front of the camera. He wanted to be everything. He was, he is. Well, of course, he's a good hand. He's a guy. He's a guy that should probably have a job in the WWE for life. No matter what he do. Like I said, he's 40 years old and he can't wrestle forever, obviously. And time is on, but he's one of those guys that he can do what MVP is doing right now, and as he can be the mouthpiece to a faction of young studs that could be incredible. He could be the mouthpiece to a tag team for anything. He can be a commentator. He can be a backstage producer. He can be anything. And so I believe he's always gonna have a job at the WWE. He should always be a WWE lifer. Only way I think he doesn't become he is a WWE lifer is if he chooses not to be one. Is if he at some point he wants to leave. But I don't think he'll ever leave. I really don't. So our thoughts are with Miz. We hope he gets better soon. We hope to see him back sooner than later, and come back even better. Come back with a more you know um, a more suitable character for him, because the character he's portrayed ever since John Morrison has come back has been, I think, something that he's overgrown for. He's outgrown. So, how about something that just broke this morning? The WWE is bringing back live events with a 25 city tour. It's going to start July 16th. It's going to kick off in Texas with 3 shows. A Friday night SmackDown at the Toyota Center in Houston. Then it's going to be that Sunday, July 18th, Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And then at the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. And then the Monday Night Raw the next night, July 19th, at the American Airlines Center. So that's gonna be interesting. They're getting back into the thing as everything starts to open up. More people are going to baseball games. You get people in basketball games and hockey games. So and people are starting to get vaccinated. I got to get my second shot today. So I am fully vaccinated. So we have a lot of things that are getting ready to happen here. Things are opening up, and so just like we're getting ready to be in a more, we're getting back to normal, the normal, not this new normal that people were talking about last year. No, we've been back to normal, and really, we probably won't get back there really until probably 2023. It'll probably still be another year, as we'll still have to. It's like Dr. Fauci just mentioned something about that, taking a booster shot maybe next year, something like that, just to keep it continue. But yeah, I think that's what I think that's what we're going to see. So it's all good. We're getting back into the game. So I like that. Um, and with fans back as well, maybe we'll see more. We'll see less. Excuse me, of the heel versus heel, face versus face. And although I don't mind the face versus face. The heel versus heel thing is something that has been a part of this um, pandemic thing, and it happens in WWE, happens in AEW, and this is probably something that's probably something that needs to go from this pandemic, because I really don't think anything has really worked when it comes to a heel versus heel type of dynamic. But it's good to see the WWE getting back on the road. How about some rumors for you here? Sports Illustrated states that SummerSlam 2021 will take place in Nevada, while Dave Meltzer is talking about Allegiant Stadium um, is a leading candidate for the venue. Allegiant Stadium is the home of the Las Vegas Raiders, so that's a big venue, and with SummerSlam being the one of the second biggest shows, I think that is something that the WWE should really start doing, is having some of the bigger stadium shows for some of the for the big four. The last couple of years before the pandemic, they've done the Royal Rumble at baseball stadiums, and the one was in Arizona. Then they did one in Houston, and of course they've been doing WrestleMania for stadium shows for years, you know, going all the way back to like the Safeco Field, for WrestleMania 19, and then out of Astrodome and WrestleMania 17. So, you know, I think more of those shows like that should happen. Yeah, SummerSlam, you should be able to do SummerSlam from anywhere. I sure, because you can do it from a football stadium, yeah, because you just make sure that the preseason will be going on, but you just make sure you hold it on a day, you find a place where there's no football game. Yeah, that's Sunday. So yeah, I think that should have more. Sports Illustrated also indicates that Money in the Bank 2021 will take place in July in front of live fans in Texas. We just talked about that. Whereas June's Hell in a Cell 2021 is better suited for the Thunderdome. He believes the Money in the Bank will be significantly improved with a live audience. That's why, if anybody was thinking why Hell in a Cell would come up before Money in the Bank, that's the reason why. Russell Bolts has said that the Fox network has been privately pushing for a return to live crowds in the WWE for over the last few weeks. They want the WWE on the same level as all the other sports leagues, like Major League Baseball. So, Meltzer again. You know what? We'll actually get to that in a second. And Scotty 2 Hotty was one of the zombies who devoured the Miz at Backlash. So Scotty 2 Hotty may be back and getting ready to get a run in the company. So good to have him back. You know, when he was released 6 or 7 years ago, people were upset. People thought that that's somebody that should have been, WWE lifer who should have been been helping people. He should have been like a coach at the performance center or producer or something like that. So hopefully he's back. He's back with the company. And before we get to our main topic, one last smaller topic. AEW is going to be moving and going to add some new shows apparently. So in 2022, AEW Dynamite, which is aired on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT since October 29, 19, will be moving to TBS in 2022. And they're going to add a new 1-hour show called AEW Rampage that's going to debut August 13th at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT. That's going to be aired on Fridays. Now, that would, for those of y'all, I know that will be after SmackDown. So if you wanted to, you could get up and watch the SmackDown, which will be 2 hours, and then go into AEW Rampage that will happen on Friday nights. So this is going to be AEW's third hour of national television, and it's it is something that it is amazing what is happening here with AEW. I will give them that. Now, for those of y'all, most of y'all may know. Some of y'all don't know. I am not a big believer in the AEW hype as of yet. I really don't. I feel that there are a lot of things happening here. I think the biggest thing is just that I think there are a group of people, a group of people of about 900,000 to 1.2 million people who want the WWE to somehow, fail or be closed down or something like that. So they are rooting for it. They are watching AEW Dynamite in hopes to build this up so that there would be real competition for the WWE. Maybe help the WWE change its ways and somehow something like that. And I really believe that. I really do. Because from what I see and from what I hear, I gotta be honest. I every now and then AEW they'll put on a good show, right? They put on a good show. But when these people, and I talked about it in one video about wrestling YouTube, when these people are giving these shows like 4 out of 5 stars or 5 out of 5 stars, and you're like, really? These shows aren't that good to be giving them that 4 out of 5 stars. I mean, they're watchable. Yeah, they're watchable. I didn't watch this week actually because of the playoffs, and the playoffs are not going to be. The AEW is going to be moved to Friday nights because of the NBA playoffs, and I probably would not be watching it because the NBA playoffs are on. So I'm not going to be watching this. Who knows? I may record it maybe because just to see how things are, but I may not watch this anymore. Yeah, and now since the war is over, I haven't really been watching NXT. I guess it's on now since they moved it to Tuesday. But then we do Tuesday. I got more other things on Tuesday to watch. So there's a lot of different things going on with me. But so yeah, but I'm not someone who thinks that this is um that this is real competition. I'm someone who doesn't think that this is ever going to happen. If it happens, and I'm wrong. I'll say I'm wrong, but I don't think they're going to be competition. I've said this. I think in 5 years, AEW will be what TNA was, and they will be on a lesser network than TNT. I'm not sure when but they will be just another flash in the pan. And teams like the Revival and people like the Revival and Miro and all the other WWE guys that left WWE to go to AEW, they will be sitting up and wondering, did I really have to possibly burn a bridge with WWE so that I could, just so that I could come over here and wrestle a 5'1" guy. Did you see this one? This is one of these reasons why I don't think AEW is going to make it. That Cesaro Baloney guy, I don't ever mess up his name up, but um, he's 6'6", and he's in a ring wrestling this 5 foot nothing, 80-pound nothing of Marco Stunt, and he's selling for him, and he's doing anything, and it is like it just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. It's one thing. You know, he wishes he was Drake Maverick. Now Drake Maverick is small, and he's small, and he's almost at that point to where you don't believe it. But gotta get the character, and for the most part, to be honest with you, he does get beat a lot because he is, and when he's with the cruiserweights, that's a better place for him. Actually, he's not doing his thing with Killian Dane the tag team thing, but the cruiserweight's probably the best place for him. And if he had a cruiserweight division, maybe I would say even Michael Stunt, but he just it's ridiculous, and that's one reason why I think someone's going to look at that and say, "Why?" People want to talk about like the zombies and why am I watching this with zombies? Well, you turn on AEW and they're watching Michael Stunt with Cesaro Baloney, and they're saying, "Why am I watching this as well?" This is still nothing I want to see. So, but got to give them credit. They now have AEW now has a second show on national TV. Going to be on TNT starting August 13th, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then 2022 Dynamite's going to move to TBS. And I think that's happening because I think the hockey is coming to TNT. So that's what's happening. They're going to move to TBS. So, good for them. We'll see if I'm right or we'll see if I'm wrong. But I think even with all of this happening for AEW, they still have a long way to go before they are any type of competition for the WWE. And I kind of wish the WWE would stop treating them as if they are. So the WWE, primarily NXT, had some releases on Wednesday, 10 of them. Some kind of surprising names, some names that were not surprising. And that was gonna be, and actually, I was originally gonna have the Miz be the main story because of the injury, and then I'm gonna have the minor story be like the releases until yesterday's news of Velveteen Dream being released, and that was a shocker, and it's a shock, at least a shocker for me, and it's a shocker for me because two reasons. One, there was talk about Velveteen Dream being at Raw, last week, and maybe behind the scenes, maybe he's gonna make his main roster debut. So okay, so we're gonna have a main roster debut with Dream coming shortly. So I thought that was happening. And then the second reason why it was shocking is just because of what they've done. I mean, why is this coming now? I mean, I understand that there are some things behind him. He's had some injury had things happening. He was driving, got into a driving accident, some other things, like arrested for assaulting a guy, something like that, um, and of course he's speaking out allegations against him. I think they came during the speaking out movement of texting and speaking with an underage young person. Um, but with all of that, they still kept him around, had him around. Now they did, when he was on TV, he took his punishment. They pretty much buried him. He took every fall in every match and everything like that, and would always get his ass whooped. So, but um, but I thought they would have kept him. Still, because he's got the talent. He's got the talent. That's a guy that could have been incredible. He could have been incredible. I want to say that I think is that WrestleMania 40. WrestleMania 40 main event should be Austin Theory and versus Velveteen Dream. That's your that's your main event because Austin Theory is so young and his real name is Patrick Clark. But Dream is so young, and that just that should be your WrestleMania 40 main event. But things just haven't come out to be in the way it has been, and a lot of people are happy. A lot of people are happy because we live in this world now where in some cases you're just guilty to proven innocent. You're guilty to proven innocent. If you have a sexually assault allegation against you, and things like that, because nowadays we want to believe victims. And but here's my thing, and I don't want to get too far into it. But I just think here's my thing. We can believe victims while still keeping the core of being innocent to proven guilty, right? Right? I think Bill Maher said it best. We take victims seriously, or we take allegations seriously. So someone claims that Velveteen Dream did it. Okay, we take this seriously. We get the cops involved. We get WWE did their own internal investigation. They said that they found nothing of the sort of like that happened, or at least Dream was not in the wrong for doing so. So, of course, in the cynical world we live in, people just say, "Oh no, they're lying." But how do you know? How do you know if they're lying or not? So it's again, it's a shocker. People are going to. Some people are probably going to claim the race thing, right? Because I mentioned Austin Theory. He's had some allegations against him. We had some allegations against Matt Riddle, who's on the main roster. Two white men, but you're going to release the black man who's got the allegations against him. Now, as we all know, there are different things. Austin Theory and Matt Riddle, whatever thing, they hadn't had any other things happen. I mentioned about like the assault and the driving thing, everything like that, and so I mentioned all that other stuff. And apparently, he's been very unprofessional with with some people. Somebody who does like the Canvas to Canvas show on the networks. He didn't mention him by name, but he tweeted it out pretty much after the announcement of his release. He was talking about it, and he talked about it being one of the most unprofessional people that he had ever been around. So, who knows? Maybe he got his head too big or something like that. So, but yeah, Velveteen Dream's been released, and that's It's a very interesting one. Um, I think I think this is. I think this is going to be it for him too as well, because I don't know if anybody else is going to touch him now. Right? I don't know if anybody else is going to touch him. I mean, what will happen for him to have to get a job is like there will have to be actual proof. There will have to be actual photo proof, video proof of the accuser saying, the accuser saying, I made up a story to, on Velveteen Dream, or somebody else is gonna have to come in and say I hacked Velveteen's Dream phone and get him fired, have to do the thing to get him fired, or the cops may have to come out and say these things were unfounded and untrue, something like that is gonna have to happen before I think Velveteen Dream gets another job in the wrestling business, and um, and that's a shame. I think that's a shame. Like I said, he was talented up the wazoo, and he had great stuff. He's the from that Steve Austin series of Tough Enough. I think that's what it was, right? Was it? Or was it the Chris Jericho one? I don't think that was Steve Austin who hold that one. I think it was Chris Jericho. But that one, the people who there, Mandy Rose, and Sonya Deville, they got contracts from that place. The female winner, Sarah Lee, she won, but she was released very soon after. So was the guy the male winner, which was forget his name. He was released after. Sarah Lee's actually married to Wesley Blake, who got released, a couple weeks ago. So yeah, so really the only ones left from that Tough Enough left is Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, and they didn't even win. So Tragic didn't win either, but he was signed because he was so young and he was so talented. But yeah, so again, we'll see what happens. What's going on with him. But there were other people also released this week. Again, Alexander Wolf. He was released on NXT Tuesday. He had a match against Killian Dane, which he lost. Then the Premium kicked him out. So I guess that was his way of getting released. So that might be one of those things where it was like maybe a thing where they're saying he's released, or I'm not sure, because he put out on Twitter that his contract ends up on June 16th. Let's see. Yeah. Just for the record, my WWE contract would expire June 15th. That means I'm a free agent June 16th. So yeah. So I don't know. So maybe one of those things where he wasn't released, but they just wasn't going to give him a contract extension. So they figured the best way to do that now is just to let him go right now. Let him take some time off and get all his stuff in gear, and then when June 15th happens, he'll be he'll be able to expire. He'll expire and he'll be a free agent. So as in a Wolf that thing. Ezra the Judge, real name is Zeke E.J. Nudoka Jr. He was signed out. He seems to be something like that. They call him the Judge. He put on Twitter, I may be down but never out, bent but not destroyed. The grind continues. Hashtag build for this. I didn't come this far just to come this far. Until next time, thank you all. Love you all. I'll be back. I had never heard of the dude, so I never heard of Skylar's story either. She was known for being in Shine and Evolve Impact Wrestling as Brandy Lauren. She signed back in the middle of 2020, but she appeared in one match, but that was it. Vanessa Bourne, who this one is really crazy. She was Chelsea Green, was called up to the main roster, under the thing, but she never made a debut. She never made a anything like that. It never happened. So I don't know what the deal was, but they released her from her contract. Um, I think one of the big ones for me, I think, was Jessamine Duke. She's a member of the Four Horsemen of the MMA. And she signed in WWE 2018 along with Marina Shafir. She's also with Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. And you would have thought that, and there were rumors like back in 2018 that they were saying that she was the one that picked it up like that. I mean, she said, they said that, Shayna was good, Marina Shafir was good, but Jessamine Duke was the one that was picking it up quickly and fast and was everything. And they thought that she was going to be, a big time thing. But when they called up Shayna Baszler and they called her up without her girls, and she hadn't wrestled a match since the NXT live event in December 19th. Although she did compete on that Raw Underground, which again, they called them up to go to do Raw Underground. So you're thinking, wow, they're they're going to have her have been called up. Nothing came from it. You at least would have thought that if for no other reason to have the Four Horsewomen of NXT or WWE, whatever you want to say, versus the Four Horsewomen of MMA. And yes, that's a match that it's way on down the line because we have Ronda Rousey's now pregnant, and so and Shayna Baszler or whatever, and then but that would have been perfect. You would have talked about something that's needed. You think about it, WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles. How about your double main event? Your double main event is Roman Reigns versus The Rock. And the next main event is the Four Horsewomen of WWE, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Bayley, and Sasha Banks versus Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Marina Shafir, and Jessamine Duke. You're drawing money, and at least I think so. But that's a surprise to me. She's been working on AJ Wood's YouTube channel over the past year, and he been doing that. Vita Divide, she hadn't really made any big appearance on TV. She was signed in like 2017, but she for the Million Classic that year, but she really hadn't done anything since appearance in the WrestleMania 34 Battle Royal, appearance at the 2019 Worlds Collide event, but she hasn't competed in any match since July 2019. So, and then maybe a couple other ones. Jake Clemens was cut, and then of course maybe one of the bigger ones was referee Drake Works. Now, if you don't know who that is, Drake Works he's the guy who he's like tan. He's so tan, something like that. They're in NXT, and he's just really there. He's always tan. But recently, he's been known as this right-wing nut job who's been almost skipping work to try to get the people in Florida to do all of these things, and he was talking about how masks are helping child sex traffickers, and he's been talking about how getting vaccinations and everything a Republican nut job would, far right nut job would. I don't want to say Republican nut job. I'll say far right nut job. But there are some Republicans out there who are actually, smart, and they're getting vaccines and they're wearing masks and they're doing the right things. And and they don't suck at the teat of Donald Trump. So I shouldn't say, I should say far right nut jobs, and he is one of them. And I think over the past several months, I think it's really turned the WWE people off, because my guess would be that most of them are, especially in the higher ups, most of them are Republicans. The McMahons. We know Vince is a Republican. He loves the Republican place. His wife ran under Republicans. I'm sure that Triple H, Stephanie, and Bruce Pritchard, and Nick Khan are probably Republicans too. You know, there are probably some other people who are Republicans, but it is, but there's things, they at the very least keep their nut jobbingness to themselves. You know, there was a point where Vince, at the beginning of the pandemic, Vince and Kevin Dunn, they kind of thought this pandemic it's not real. It's not real. It's just we're overstating the things, but they finally come to it. Kevin Owens opened up Vince's eyes and said, we especially once the pandemic, once a outbreak happened, he said we really need to do this. We need, and to his credit, he convinced Vince to start the mask mandate there. So again, like I'm sure that's happened, but it's crazy. And I guess that he didn't have any more of it, and they fired him. So yeah. But I have nothing else to say about that. But yeah, so big, very big week once again with releases happen. This may happen all the rest of the year. This may not be. Some people say, well, it's happened at at the WrestleMania now. It's happened a month or so later. But this may take place because there is a new hierarchy in the talent place. It is now John Laurinaitis, and they may be getting rid of people that are not used very often, or are not, or they see no potential in at this time, at this moment, and they may be releasing them for the budgetary constraints, which is what Meltzer says that the reason why the NXT releases happen is for budget constraints. But the big one coming out is Velveteen Dream. So I don't think, besides Samoa Joe, and then Velveteen Dream, we should not be surprised if another big name gets released before the end of the year. And we should not be surprised if we have another Wednesday or Thursday or whatever of releases being announced. Alright, y'all, make sure you go to patreon.com/AJTRIP to become a patron. Once I hit a certain amount of patrons, you will be able to decide what you guys want to see here on my YouTube channel, what video games I play on my Twitch channel, and what topics I talk about on my podcast. So again, patreon.com/AJTRIP. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about any of the topics I talked about. In particular, our main topics, Velveteen Dream, and many others getting released this week. Let me know down in the comment section. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy, AJTRIP, signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.